Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Rimet Cup. Um, this video is an introduction to what this channel is about and how it's going to work. Um, so, what we're doing is we're traveling back to 1998, where FIFA expanded the World Cup finals to 32 nations. In this hypothetical make-believe world, instead of creating this expanded World Cup tournament, FIFA has decided to turn the World Cup into a worldwide knockout tournament, just like the FA Cup or the Davis Cup, the way it used to exist. The new trophy was commissioned, as you would have seen in the opening slide in the logo, which is a hybrid of what is now the current FIFA World Cup trophy and the original Jules Rimet trophy, and that is the FIFA Rimet Cup. So how will the tournament work? Essentially, it'll work as a home and away tie, very, very similar to the original European Champions Cup. Um, Assuming 1998 is the first one, there's 192 FIFA member nations as per the December 1997 FIFA rankings. So the way it would have worked is the top 64 would have received buys to round 2, which would have left the other 128 nations to have 64 matches randomly drawn to leave 64 winners, which would then make round 2 a round of 128. And from there, it's straight knockout, no buys, a little bit of seeding, but that depends on the draw. Then round 3 onwards is completely open. In round 1 will be the same rule that FIFA has for all their tournaments, with a little twist that it will include UEFA, that nations from the same confederation will not be drawn against each other in the first round of the tournament. That's hypothetically how it would have worked. In this world that we're playing through, it is going to be a little bit different, but I'll get to that. What we're doing is we're using the games, the video games in our world that have had the most international teams in them that correlate to roughly the World Cup tournament. So, for example, this 98 version that we're going to start with, which is what I'm going to get to here, we'll use the FIFA 98 Road to the World Cup game. And I'll get to why that's important in an upcoming slide. Depending on the game, well, every game will be played with AI simulation against each other, so no player control, using professional difficulty, and with 5-minute halves. In the earlier games, you couldn't do 5-minute halves, so that will be 4-minute halves, but still professional difficulty, whatever the game is. It's a home and away tie. Um, when a match is drawn on aggregate, it will be just like it normally would be. I'm making one little change, which is when away goals decides the winner, away goals do not count for extra time. Um, which that's where the typo is in that point there. So matches drawn in aggregate will be first decided on away goals up until 2018 when the away goals rule was scrapped. We're going to do some things where things in real life that happened influence this. If it's still tied on away goals, it's extra time, which for the 98 and 2002 editions will be golden goal. What that's supposed to say is away goals are not enforced during extra time. And then if still drawn at the end of extra time, it would be a penalty shootout. All ties, tie obviously that's a Davis Cup term I think, is a round. So home and away, two matches make a tie. Each tie will be held with two matches right up to the semi-final, and only the final will be held with a single leg with extra time and goal and penalties as required. If there is any processes that are going to change like that, when I do a video announcing the draw for each time, I'll communicate that then. Now, the reason why I mentioned FIFA 98 is because, well, yes, I do have the full rankings. Not every game has all the countries. So I do not have this on this screen. I've got it on the next screen, I think. FIFA 98 is missing 20 of those 192 nations. So I'll get to how that affects the numbers of the draw very soon. But these are the expected games to be used for the upcoming editions. So for example, FIFA 2002 will be used for the 2002 tournament, which has 122 nations, which means we're going to have one less round because it's going to start at the round of 128. We have less than 128, so there will be buys for the top six um, countries, and that'll be decided primarily from the results of the 98 tournament. So it'll be the four semi-finalists, and then maybe leave in the comments which of the two options here. Either using the actual FIFA rankings of the four losing quarterfinalists and the top two highest ranked get a bye, or going back through the results of the tournament, whoever's got the highest goal difference kind of thing, like making a ladder, like how they determine the best third places that progress at the Euros and the World Cup. Because there's no World Cup games for 2018-2022, yet to decide if that's going to be the FIFA game that has the World Cup expansion pack, or if we use the appropriate PES game, just for a little something different, because they usually have more international teams, and I'll be able to get the uniforms and stuff. With 2026, there is a mod floating around, which I'll put a link to the Patreon page in the description, where you can actually have all 211 FIFA member nations on the game, including the non-FIFA member of the AFC, Northern Mariana Islands, who will take part in that 2026 edition. So, generally speaking, that's how the buys and numbers will work for those ones. Here's where 1998 is different. So, as I said, there's 20 teams missing, which means there's 172. So the draw is altered. So round one will feature the bottom 88 ranked nations using the 1997 December FIFA rankings, provided that they're in the game, so it's game adjusted rankings, with the top 84 receiving a bye into round two. Of those 84, the top 44 will be guaranteed to face a round one winner, meaning they'll play someone from the bottom ranked 88, whereas the remaining 40 nations will be drawn against each other. But from round three, it's a completely open draw. And as I said earlier, those 88 nations playing off in round one will not be drawn into a match against someone from their own confederation. I've pretty much already explained this, but that's how it works. So, game adjusted rankings using the December rankings, but removing the nations not in game. 85 to 172. The nation that was drawn first with the exception of the seeded nations for the second round, will host the second leg of the tie. Nations won't from same confederation won't be drawn in the first round fixture. The seeded nations for the second round, that's what I explained on the last slide. As there's 44 winners from round one, but 84 buys into round two, only the top 44 ranked nations as their seeded advantage will be that they play a round one winner rather than one of those 45 to 84 ranked countries. But there is no confederation restriction otherwise. From that point, rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and the final, which is round 8, will be completely open draw, just like the FA Cup or the Australia Cup. The first nation out is the host nation of the second leg. With this one, because there's no custom tournaments on FIFA 98, the complete fixture bracket has been determined at the start of the draw, so the whole path to Paris, as that's where the final will be, um, has been determined. As I said earlier in the process, all matches will be decided on aggregate. In the event of a draw after two legs, the winner will be first decided by the team with the most away goals in regular time, then golden goal extra time, should that fail to find a winner, a penalty shootout. And the final, which is round 8, will be held at Parc des Princes. I'm very bad at French. Parc des Princes in Paris, as Saint Denis is not on FIFA 98 game, as a single leg with golden goal, extra time, and penalties if required. Now, the draw has already taken place. I'm going to put the full fixture. I've got a bracket that's going to keep track of the results. That'll be in the description as well. But I do have for you the first round. So all of these winners will face off against one of the top 44 ranks. So we've got Yemen versus Azerbaijan, Madagascar versus Pakistan, Sri Lanka versus Venezuela, Dominica versus Syria, Indonesia versus Malta, Turkmenistan versus Liberia, Nepal versus Wales, Cambodia versus Bermuda, India versus Kenya, Tanzania versus Suriname, Tahiti versus Cayman Islands, Grenada versus Guinea-Bissau, Rwanda versus Armenia, Papua New Guinea versus Kyrgyz Republic, the Netherlands Antilles, which we would now know as Curacao, against Bangladesh, Belarus versus Tonga, Barbados versus Swaziland, which I believe is now known as Eswatini. That's why I've got countries in brackets there. Macedonia, now North Macedonia, versus Antigua and Barbuda, Chinese Taipei versus St. Kitts and Nevis, Haiti versus Kazakhstan, Mauritius versus Philippines, Gambia versus Guyana, Mauritania versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia versus Macau, Cuba versus Malaysia, Tajikistan versus Northern Ireland, Estonia versus Jordan, Moldova versus Maldives, Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Vanuatu, Dominican Republic versus Sudan, Puerto Rico versus Vietnam, Western Samoa, which is now just Samoa, versus Liechtenstein, San Marino versus Belize, Luxembourg versus Hong Kong, Panama versus Slovenia, Nicaragua versus Burkina Faso, Bahamas versus Solomon Islands, Lebanon versus Uganda, Cook Islands versus Faroe Islands, Malawi versus New Zealand, Burundi versus Fiji, Aruba versus Singapore, Albania versus Congo, and Namibia versus Bahrain. So, like I said in the comments, I have a link to the full bracket. Unfortunately, that bracket only starts from the round of 128. So, where these matches have been drawn into round two against one of the top 44 ranked nations, it'll be labeled as the match. So, I don't have the full draw in front of me because I'm using one screen. But for example, let's say Brazil was drawn to verse the winner of Tahiti versus Cayman Islands. In the bracket, it's just going to show as Brazil versus Tahiti versus Cayman Islands because I can't put this round into that bracket. Okay, so now that I've introduced the tournament, I will be recording all the matches, uploading them as they are played. I'm going to go through one leg at a time, one match at a time, one leg at a time. So it's going to be all the first legs of these round one matches and then all of the second legs of the round two matches. Um, and we'll go from there. So I hope you all enjoy.